Tarot Tribe and beloved Tarotistas. This is Tracy, the Eclectic Muse, and it's been a while since I've done a deck review, and I've decided that to get me back into the swing of things, I was going to do a review of the Blackthorn Oracle. What makes this a very unique and special deck is that it is not mass published. It is a self-published deck by a local deck creator. His name is Michael Ingleby, and I get to have the privilege of calling him a very dear and close friend. He is also the owner of the Cat and Cauldron here in Salt Lake City, or actually Taylorsville, Utah to be more specific, and this deck is exclusively sold at that shop. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Oh, but one thing I did want to mention is this is actually his third deck. The first one was the Liminal Oracle, and there is a deck review of that one, and I will post the link down below, or it is in my playlist of Oracle deck reviews. He also did another Oracle deck called the Carte Postale. That one I have not done a deck review yet, but it is on my agenda to do so. So let's go ahead and get started. So this deck was absolutely created based upon his own lineage and the lore that is associated with that. So he states here that it is based on the lore and power of Italian witchcraft as practiced in the Caligari Blackthorn tradition, created to heighten your own psychic and spiritual abilities. Use these cards for prediction, as a focus for spell or ritual work, and as a tool for deeper and personal understanding. And this is the symbol that Michael created to represent the blackthorn. All right, so it comes in a standard tuck box. One of the things about this tuck box that I like is it is actually sturdier than most. Normally, I'm not a fan of tuck boxes because they can get damaged really, really easy. But this one's really quite stout. I've carried it in my purse for a couple of weeks now, and it still looks absolutely brand new. Another nice feature about this tuck box that I'm kind of a fanatic for is this little divot here, which makes it easier to open the lid. Many of my other tuck boxes, good night Irene, I just got my lips and I'm still learning how to use them. Sorry. Anyway, my other tuck boxes that don't have this divot, I always end up really just mucking up the edge of the lip trying to get it open. And so I thank you, Michael, for doing that. So what's nice about this Oracle deck, the very first thing I have to say is its size. For those of you like me that have many, okay, more than many Oracle decks, they are huge. They're so hard to shuffle. They don't fit in your hand very well, and this deck is a nice fit. Also, the cardstock is flexible, so it's not incredibly rigid. I have many tarot decks and oracle decks where the cardstock is almost like cardboard, but this is very flexible. They're very fluid. There's just a slight gloss to them, but not too glaring. The backs are very nice and simplistic. For me, I'm not a really big person on just gigantic, busy, ornate backs. I like just the simplicity of these cards and the size and the design. You'll notice the red and black theme throughout this deck, which is very provocative in so much as red incites so much of that inner fire, lust, passion, desire, anger, and just a range of very primal emotions. And so does black. Black brings on that sense of darkness, or perhaps the absence of light, which can for some people mean very many different things. Black can be very soothing. Black can be scary. Black can be peaceful. It can be a void, and so it can be many things to many people. Okay, so let's go ahead and start flipping cards. So here we have the alchemical symbol for air. And if you are a card reader and you really delve into the elemental aspects and influences of your cards, definitely air is all about shoulders up. It is logic, wisdom, reason, logistics, analytical communication. And so this can really speak to that aspect of your being. Ancestry. We are the sum of those who have gone before us, and they will be forever implanted in our psyche. Boundaries. So here we have a dagger, which very specifically states, this will stop. I am drawing the line right here. And so I really like the emphasis of this card. Many of us still need to work on being able to establish boundaries. Community. I really enjoy the energy of this card because to me these are wands, and it brings the fire, it brings the spark, and it brings the creativity of many people together as a collective or the community. Cunning. I am a Lenormand reader, and this little guy just is my favorite card in my Lenormand deck, and that is the Fox. This just speaks for itself. Devotion. In speaking with Michael earlier today, we did a Facebook Live video that unfortunately got abruptly stopped because somebody had technical difficulties, and she shall remain nameless. But in talking with him as we went through each of these cards, one of the things that he shared about this, as I was a little kind of muddled about really, I know what devotion is, but what does it mean on a more metaphysical level? And he put it so beautifully, and that was, it can pertain to anything that you are devoted to doing, devoted to thinking, devoted to feeling, anything you hold a candle where that flame burns bright and that it drives you forward. And I thought that was just a beautiful way of illustrating devotion. Next, we have the chemical symbol of earth, solidity, stableness, grounded, slow and methodical. That's what earth is to me. I use actually the alchemical symbols a lot in my own personal practice and in my readings. So I'm so glad that he included these. Oh, sorry, deck's upside down. My bad. I thought I got it straightened out. We have the elemental spirit, emotion, and here we have a heart. I find it interesting that it's actually a black heart, which in this case, it makes me insane when people devote a good or bad aspect to color, and that is a fallacy. Ah, the familiar spirit. Here we have a toad or a frog. Toads and frogs have a very long association with the craft. And I'm just kind of really learned about the toads and the frogs and their influence in the practitioner's life. Normally we think of familiars for the practitioner or the witch as a black cat. Well, there are many more than just that. Raven Grimassi, in his book Old World Witchcraft, devotes quite a bit of information to the lore and history of how the toad or the frog is associated to the witch and why that is. So I would suggest checking that out. And of course we have fire. Gnosis. I believe Gnosis is absolutely essential in a practitioner's life because it is that message that you receive from the divine or whatever name you attribute to it. It's that personal insight. It is your personal truth. One really cool thing that Michael said, as he is a devotee of Hecate or Hecate, the torch is absolutely representative of her. And so when you receive that bam insight, that fiery thought process, that is your gnosis. So well done, Michael. Really love that card. Here we have Goddess, and she has it within her the absolutely beautiful spiral, the pentacle, and the key. Here she has a very loving, devoted, nurturing kind of energy, but also one that just will not put up with your BS. And one of those mothers that loves you enough to, if she needs to, give you a swat on the backside. Guardianship, protection, defense against that which might attack you on all sides. Utilize all of your weapons, utilize all of your senses, and stand proud and stand brave. So that's guardianship. Home. There is so much lore and stories about the broom and its role in the witch's life. It is said that, and I quote Michael, that any village back hundreds of years ago that had a witch who resided within their community was considered to be blessed. Of course, this was before the burning times, but also having a broom upright behind your door is to guard and to protect your home from any unwanted visitors or energies. But this is all about your home, your hearth, and everything contained within it. Initiation. One of the really, this is, and Michael said this earlier today, that this is probably one of the busiest cards in the deck, for we have a person with his light centers, his third eye, his crown, his mind, heart, and his sacral, if you will. They are lit up and they are ready to step through and to the fire, to start their initiation, to dedicate and to commit to something. Great card, very powerful card. Integrity. Integrity is represented here by a cluster of crystals, each one strong and solid and true, while each one is different in their facets. So each one of us actually has our own moral compass, and integrity is that which guides us and very often is absolutely the determining factor of our choices. Liminality. Going down, going between, going under, going to that space where you wouldn't normally go. These toadstools, I think, absolutely represent the liminal. And I always have to giggle now when I see toadstools or mushrooms, because shout out to my dearest friend Katie Heron, because she always would say to me, "Hey girl, I got something to tell you, but we got to keep it sub fungi," which means keep it on the down low. So, excellent card. Malefica, Malefica. The finger. You know, as we were kids, when mom would always point that finger at you, boy, you knew you were in trouble, especially when your full name was used. What I like about the finger is it is representative of a wand. It is power, and as you exude it, ideally, that which you wish for will come true. So, also, too, I have to say I love this card because I am a raging fan of Maleficent. So you can kind of understand and attribute to it that element of the card. The Mighty Dead. I think this is probably one of my favorite cards, and it just always gives me goosebumps. The Mighty Dead. This card represents not just those of our own blood that have passed before us, but it represents all of those who, while their time on earth, they affected great change that profoundly impacted humanity. For example, Nelson Mandela and those individuals similar to him that were noteworthy. They are the mighty dead, because for while they may have had a great impact while they were in human form, it doesn't necessarily mean that they still don't have that ability and resilient strength to assist us while they are on the other side of the veil. So they are the mighty dead. In my tradition, we actually call upon them before we do a working, just to have their presence with us and to know that we are in the company of great ones. So, fantastic card. Moon. Power. The cauldron, the womb. Absolutely the source of life, the source of creativity, that which can be manifested. We will put various ingredients into the cauldron, and when it's done, they absolutely come out as something entirely different. Fantastic card. Oh, upside down again, my apologies. Underworld. Tradition. Psychopomp, the guardian, the escort between here and the other world, or the underworld, however you choose. They accompany us as we traverse the two realms. They are not only our escort, but they can also be bringers of messages from other realms. And it's usually crows, ravens, magpies, blackbirds. But also, too, there are many other animals that can be psychopomps. And if you do a little bit of research on this, it's interesting to learn the different animals that were psychopomps in different cultural burial rites. Venefica. That which can harm can also heal. Watchers, your guardian, your protector. You can see the eyes right here. There is a ferocity and yet a loving guardianship. There's always such comfort in knowing that we have an energy or a spirit or an ancestor that is there watching over us to guide and instruct and inspire. Water. Just love the colors of these cards. They're so primal. One of the really things that I just incredibly appreciate about this deck is there's not a whole lot of busyness going on in the background. It's just those primal colors and the image. And that's it. And that's, I think, what makes it really provocative and makes you think and kind of just gets you right in your heart. So here we have wisdom, the key that opens your mind to those things that may be unknown to you or frightening. Open up and accept wisdom where you can. It is a great gift. Virtue. Oh, I really like that card. Alrighty, so that was our deck review, again, of the Blackthorn Oracle. If you liked this video, by all means hit like and subscribe. I would love you forever. If you are interested in this deck, you can contact Cat and Cauldron in Taylorsville, Utah, and I will post in the description below the link to their shop and their phone number for their art decks available, but it is a very limited amount. And from what I understand, he is not going to do another run of these. So if you have to get your hands on it like I did, don't hesitate to give him a call. Be blessed and be abundant.